escape you need to see. You're the honest I'll ever be. I'm so sorry I never stayed. Overreact and just walk away. Take me back to the place I know. I have the power to let things go. I'm so lost I can't see the shore. You know what that means, we've been here before.
Strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know it, and so do I. It does not matter who the host is. It does matter who the listeners are. Yeah, that's an important portion of what is going on. Anyways, how have you been? It's been a while, it feels like. Anyways, today is Monday, August 29th of 2022, day 241st of the year, and only 124 days left to go. So yes, the rumors of my demise have been over exaggerated. It seems like last week we had all kinds of issues. So where do we start? Let's see. Depending on where you were at, our LinkedIn didn't work for a connector. Our Twitch didn't work for a connector, but everything else did. So did the radio station, and so did everything else. Then come Friday, and I woke up with my voice missing part of it. So I was like, hey, probably not a good idea to show up. That's just in case you were wondering where the hell I've been. That's what's been going on. Anyways, with that being said, a lot of stuff going on today. We are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. And then, of course, we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that does stuff.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
So, yeah, hanging out with our friends at RadioBig.fm. So, if you are hanging out here, we need to start talking right away about all the things that were trending inside of the multiverse. So, I think, therefore I am. Let's go ahead and start talking about that.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so taking it from the very top for what was going on over the weekend, because it's been some time. Let's see, Saturday was National Just Because Day. So just because I did nothing all day on Saturday. And then college football was trending on Saturday as fans celebrated the new 2022-2023 season. Willie Mays was trending over the weekend after the New York Mets retired his number 24. Sunday was National Cherry Turnover Days. I'll tell you I had no cherries that turned over on that day. What else? For people who do not know, was trending on Sunday after tweets included decaf coffee is brown and sadness water. The left lane is for passing. Hashtag games are the best way to spend time on Twitter. And manners are important. And then here we go, landed in Twitter's top 10 trends yesterday as Pittsburgh Steelers fans cheered on their team who faced off with the Detroit Lions. So there you go. There you go. And that was all fun stuff as of, well, weekend. So there you go. Anyways, if you want to interact with the show and do all kinds of fun stuff that we get to do around here, it's a simple process in doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That will get you moving and grooving inside of our system. That will be the easiest way for us to interact, to be quite honest with you. That is the easiest fashion of us being able to do anything together. Just really the way that it goes about. Anyways, with that being said, what we do here, if you're not familiar, is we bring in some professional broadcasters. They tell us what is going on inside of the world of the news. And then we talk about the safety in the news and safety and all that kind of fun stuff. We give you a main story and give it to you in a big bow, and then we kind of package it out and go out from there. Anyways, if you're listening on the radio format, you can do that on iHeartRadio under Radio Big, or you can listen to us on Safety FM, the app. Not a problem either way. Or if you want to torture yourself and go through some of the streaming fashions, well, you have that as well if you're so inclined to do so. So some options there on doing this. I think it might be time, or close enough to that time, to bring in some pro broadcasters. Let them tell us about what is going on inside of this multiverse of ours, because I think it's always important for them to tell us, because you definitely don't want to hear it from me about what is going on inside of the world of the news. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. The countdown to this morning's launch of Artemis 1 is moving forward after NASA engineers were able to troubleshoot a leak while fueling the rocket for liftoff.
Team did a fantastic job working through that problem and getting us past it, and now we're moving forward.
NASA Assistant Launch Manager Jeremy Graber says the fueling issue combined with an overnight weather delay might force them to push back the launch time later in this morning's window. The 2-hour window opens at 8:33 a.m. Eastern. The Artemis 1 mission will send an uncrewed capsule on a 6-week test flight around the moon and back. A violent weekend across the country. 3 people are dead, including the suspected shooter, after a grocery store attack in Central Oregon. Police say they responded to reports of an active shooter at a shopping center in the town of Bend, 3 hours southeast of Portland on Sunday night. Police Chief Mike Krantz says there were several witnesses.
Multiple 911 calls came in. As police responded, we had reports of at least 1 possible or 2 active shooters in the area.
The man yet to be identified reportedly entered a Safeway and shot 1 person at the entrance, then moved further into the store and shot and killed a second victim. Officers responded around 7 p.m. local time and entered while still hearing shots. They found the apparent shooter, a man yet to be identified, dead inside with a rifle and a shotgun close by. 4 people are dead, including a gunman, after a man set a house on fire in Houston Sunday morning and then waited for residents to flee.
This suspect, very sadly and very evilly, set fire to several residents, laid wait for those residents to come out, and fired upon them.
There was also a shooting at New York's Coney Island. The gunman is still on the loose. A new poll shows heavy Republican support for former President Donald Trump to make a third run for the White House in 2024. The USA Today Ipsos survey found nearly 60% of likely Republican voters think Trump should be the GOP nominee. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Julia Chapman. More than 1,000 people have been killed since mid-June in flooding in Pakistan as rescue workers continue to evacuate residents. Japan is pushing to rebuild Africa's financing development as a Tokyo-led conference comes to an end in Tunisia. And NASA is returning to the moon for the first time in 50 years, since the 1972 Apollo mission.
Listen to our host
Of the Rated R Safety Show.
self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
2 Air France pilots are suspended after they got into a fight in the cockpit on a flight from Switzerland. Mark Mayfield with more.
Air France said on Sunday that the pilots were physically fighting on a flight from Geneva to Paris in June. The airline said the flight continued and landed safely. A Swiss newspaper reported that the pilot and co-pilot got into an argument shortly after takeoff and grabbed each other by their collars, and one apparently hit the other. Members of the cabin crew stepped onto the flight deck to help quiet the situation just as tensions died down. One cabin crew member stayed on the flight deck for the rest of the flight to ensure calm. I'm Mark Mayfield.
There's growing concern about the spread of polio in New York State. The latest from Trey Thomas.
The State Department of Health announced on Friday that traces of the disease have now been found in wastewater samples in Sullivan County. That's in addition to a number of other counties where polio has cropped up over the summer. Health officials are urging people to make sure they've been vaccinated against the disease. That's considered serious and life-threatening.
A jury is awarding $100 million to a 69-year-old man who was paralyzed after an Atlanta police officer shot him with a taser 4 years ago. Jerry Blazingame fell and broke his neck after a police officer tased him as he tried to run away. He's required around-the-clock care since the July 2018 encounter.
Aiutarci come fratelli e andare avanti.
Pope Francis is wrapping up a trip that had fueled speculation about a possible resignation announcement. He visited L'Aquila, Italy on Sunday, the burial place of Pope Celestine V, one of the only pontiffs in history to resign. Pope Francis in the past has mentioned he might step down if his health further deteriorated, but he made no mention of any such move during his visit. He did, however, praise Celestine, saying that by giving up power, he had demonstrated strength and humility. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of a toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
What happened to Philip K. Dick from February to March 1974 would change him forever. For the next 8 years, he attempted to explain in writing his experience of the entire universe transformed into information. Enter the letters, dreams, and journal entries of the mind behind Blade Runner and A Scanner Darkly. Learn the genesis of the Valis trilogy and the stories behind other classic Dick novels. Houghton Mifflin Harcourt is proud to present The Exegesis of Philip K. Dick, edited by Pamela Jackson and Jonathan Lethem. Experience the ultimate quest into a cosmic mystery like no other. Touch genius.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, The Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Prepare yourself.
We are now being distributed on iHeartRadio. Listen on iHeartRadio app. Radio Big.
Okay, let's go.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage.
I'm talking truth.
Okay, there you go. Currently 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do together. Anyway, so let's take it from the very top of the hit list of the things that are going on inside of the world here. NASA, let's see, Archer's mission is scheduled for blast off at 7:33, so 18 minutes or so. Matter of fact, that's a lie. It's Central Time is what they're saying. Sorry, that is a lie. You have over an hour for that. With a 9:33 rescheduled time if needed due to weather, but clear skies are expected over Florida. It weighs at 5.5 million pounds, full of fuel, and the tower is 322 feet high. This time it will be unscrewed, but the Orion capsule can carry 4 astronauts. And let's see, what else? I said unscrewed, I meant uncrewed, but hey, whatever, unscrewed, crewed, whatever. It all goes from the next mission will be the 4 seats with all actual humans there. So there you go. If the launch does get pushed back, the launch window will be set to September the 2nd or the 5th. We're asking, shouldn't we as a country be excited about this? The space mission that will return mankind to the moon. I mean, I think it's something to think about, isn't it? I mean, what else would you do? I mean, it's been some time. It's been some time for sure since we've been back there. So let's see what happens. What happens? So what happens from there? Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things if we don't mind here. Have you heard about this one? Have you heard about that Moderna is suing Pfizer? Yeah, the lawsuit alleges that Pfizer's infringed on Moderna's mRNA technology patents in the development of its own COVID vaccine. Worth remembering, before the pandemic, Moderna was essentially a pharmaceutical startup pioneering mRNA technology, which alleges that Pfizer, took its patents and filed them between 2016 and 2010 to 2016, where Pfizer said that in a statement the COVID vaccine was based on its own proprietary research and intellectual property. Also worth noting is Moderna not seeking damages or to remove Pfizer's vaccine from the market. Instead, they'll pursue a future cut of Pfizer's profits. The lawsuit also establishes that back on March the 8th of 2022 marked the end of the pandemic and will now only seek compensation for sales since then. Meanwhile, I don't know if you took a listen to this, on Joe Rogan's podcast, Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers said that the CDC sent someone to the NFL squad for each team with demands to get everyone vaccinated before last season. Rodgers said that the bureaucrats presented a graph showing what percentage of players were vaccinated and pressured those who didn't comply. So there you go. That was some stuff that was going on right there. Let me see if I can do this because I don't ever know if I can. Let's see. We are going to do the lift here. Now, that's a 2-minute clip. I ain't doing no 2-minute clip of somebody else's show. That's not right. So there you go. But yeah, if you did not see or listen to that Joe Rogan's podcast with Aaron Rodgers, I've listened to a few clips out of it. Definitely one worth taking a listen to because it has some interesting stuff inside of there.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, a mint condition Mickey Mantle baseball card from 1952 Topps collection is sold for $12.6 million yesterday, a new record for sports memorabilia. That's pretty good return for the seller who bought it for $50,000 back in 1991. The previous record for memorabilia was a jersey worn by soccer pro Diego Maradona in 1986, which sold for $9.3 million. The previous record for baseball cards was $7.25 million for a rare one featuring Honus Wagner. So there you go. Some stuff right there if you care about that kind of stuff. So now you have some stuff that you might care about. Anyways, next year, Ford Mustang's Mach-E models are getting a price increase by a little over $8,000. Yep. Reps for Ford say that the price increase is due to inflation and supply chain snarls and blah, blah, blah. The price increase is almost the same amount as the electric version of tax credit passed on to passed on the part incorrectly named Inflation Reduction Act a week ago. So think about that. So the price went up exactly the same price that the Inflation Reduction Act decided to go. Kind of interesting on how that works. Makes it almost seems like something's a little snarly-arly there for sure if you start thinking about it, because what else makes sense with that? I mean, think about it for a second.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Take a listen to this. A clay jar from an ancient Egypt believed to be around 3,000 years old was seized by customs officials in Memphis, Tennessee last week. It was reportedly sent from Europe to an American buyer. Such jars are believed to have been used to store organs and organs of dead people before they were mummified. Authorities looked into the matter, and the person who shipped it made contradicting statements about the contents value, according to the Associated Press. The Convention of Cultural Property Implementation Act of 1983 governs a treaty that protects historical and archaeological importance. The artifact will be under further investigation by the Department of Homeland Security. Sounds like a lot of stuff to do for a simple pot right there, if you really give it some thought in that kind of format. Anyways, with that being said, I think it's time to give Johnny Smalls the floor and let him talk about what is going on inside of the Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, August 29th, 2022. The sell-off in equity markets intensified last week following a bearish technical signal, high inflation, and remarks from Fed Chief Jerome Powell. He said inflation was a problem. The Fed would fight forcefully, adding some businesses and families would feel the pain in the process. The need to fight inflation means higher interest rates, which leads to a cutback in hiring and activity, which means fewer businesses and work opportunities over the next year or so. The S&P 500 fell more than 3% at the low of the day, and it looks like that will fall further in the coming days. The move not only confirms a reversal of long-term proportion, but shows a high conviction within the market as well. This week is another hurdle for the market. The NFP data is due out Friday and is expected to show a slowdown in hiring as well as an increase in wages, which is bad news for the market. In that scenario, labor and consumer markets are already feeling the pain, but not enough to correct the pace of inflation or to stave off aggressive FOMC action. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for that one. Really do appreciate the information, because that always is important as we are talking, hanging out, and doing all the fun stuff that we do here. That is for sure. Let me see. What else do we have going on? Let me give you a breakdown of what I found. The Dow tanked on Friday, losing about 1,008 points. The close at 32,383. The S&P lost about 141 points to close at 4,057, and the Nasdaq lost about 497 points. West Texas Intermediate was down to $92 a barrel when Brent crude was back to just below $100 a barrel at $98. The national average price of a gallon of gas went to $3.85 on Sunday. Bitcoin got pummeled over the weekend, dipping $1,600 in the last 5 days and trading back to $20,000, just back below $20,000 at $19,915. And let's see, there was 3,122 flight delays within, into, and out of the United States on Sunday, and 136 cancellations. So that's a lot of delays if you were taking a look around. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk real quick of what was going on inside of the box office. because we do tend to talk about that here. So coming in at number 10, Where the Crawdads Sing, $2.3 million. At number 9, Thor, Love and Thunder, $2.7 million. Minions, The Rise of Gru, $2.74 million. At number 7, 3,000 Years of Longing, $2.8 million. At number 6 was DC, The Super Pets, $4.2 million. At number 5 was Dragon Ball Z with Superhero at $4.5 million. And number 4 was Top Gun Maverick at $4.7 million. And number 3 was Beast with $4.9 million. At number 2, Bullet Train with $5.6 million. And at the number 1 spot was The Invitation with $7 million. Variety reports that there was the weakest first place box office finish since May of 2021. That's when Saw sequel Spiral made a partly $4.5 million that was still the top flick. Variety blames the lack of appealing options for the low revenue. What do you think? Is there any movies that are out there right now that are getting you excited about going back into the movie theater? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's getting you excited about that stuff. Something to talk about for sure. Anyways, let's talk real quick. Let's talk about some things that are going on. We normally don't talk a lot about weird things, but I guess it's time to talk about the weird. Alcohol home delivery in New Jersey wins approval. Take a listen to this. If you live in New Jersey, you'll soon be able to get alcohol delivered at your home. Take a listen to what Sarah Lee Kessler has to say.
Beginning this fall, you'll be able to ask bars, liquor stores, and restaurants to deliver booze, beer, and wine to your doorstep. New Jersey's Division of Alcoholic Beverage Control issued a new rule last Friday, but alcohol won't be delivered directly. Businesses will use third-party delivery services like DoorDash, and they won't be allowed to deliver to college campuses. Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio, New Jersey.
So what happens if you just park across the street from the college campus? Can you deliver there? Because you know that's going to be the inside Iggy just for people to look at. Anyways, take a listen to this. The U.S. Opens kicks off today in Queens. Tennis fans are flocking to Queens today for the start of the U.S. Open. Scott Pringle has more information.
This will likely be the final U.S. Open for tennis great Serena Williams. She tells Vogue magazine she'd like to grow her family and focus on a venture capital firm.
She's an inspiring black woman playing tennis, and I'm a black woman playing tennis as well, so that's very inspiring.
I know she wants to expand her family, and if she's going to do it, this is the time.
Meanwhile, on the men's side, Rafael Nadal is going for his 23rd Grand Slam singles title. Novak Djokovic will not be playing. He is not in compliance with COVID-19 vaccine travel rules. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Scott Pringle, for that one, letting us know what is going on inside of the world. Take a listen to this real quick. 3 men dead after an Oregon shopping center shooting. 3 people are dead, including a suspected shooter, after a grocery store attack in Central Oregon. Yeah, Central Oregon. The police say that the responders to the reports of an active shooter at a shopping center in the town of Bend, 3 hours south of Portland, on Sunday night. Police Chief Mike Krantz says that there was several witnesses.
Multiple 911 calls came in. As police responded, we had reports of at least 1 possible or 2 active shooters in the area, and the calls were of shots being fired.
The man yet to be identified reportedly entered the Safeway and shot 1 person at the entrance, then moved further into the store and shot and killed a second victim. Officers responded around 7 p.m. local time and entered immediately while still hearing shots. They found that the apparent shooter, a man yet to be identified, dead inside inside with a rifle and a shotgun close by. Officials say that the investigation is still very active. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. I mean, that's some interesting things real quick. Anyways, let's see. What else do we have going on here? Because there's a lot of stuff, and my voice is getting itchy, which is kind of getting interesting as we are going to talk about this. Anyways, Elon Musk's mother, May, is revealing somewhat of a surprising sleeping arrangement at her son's Texas home. Trey Thomas has more info.
She says that despite her son being the world's richest man, when she visits him in Texas, she has to sleep in the garage due to a lack of space. She told the New York Times Elon can't have a fancy house near a rocket site. After Elon told the public in April he didn't own a home and was staying at friends' houses, he found a primary residence close to his company's Texas location. I'm Trey Thomas.
Well, that makes it some interesting times. Anyways, let me ask a strange question here, and I might get some flack for it. Do you really want people spending the night over at your house, regardless of them being family members or not? I mean, people do weird things. I mean, let's just be realistic. Let's keep it 100 as we are talking here. I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking the question. Don't shoot the messenger. Just asking. Anyways, let's see. A Des Moines area family is offering a reward for some information that about an Iowa family raises a reward to catch a drug dealer. Yeah, take a listen to this.
$35,000 to identify the drug dealer who sold the fentanyl that killed their daughter. Rob Gilliam first offered $10,000 on his Facebook page as he was making funeral plans for his 22-year-old daughter, Ciara. She was a 2017 graduate of Ankeny Centennial High School. The latest post raises the reward to $35,000. No questions asked. I'm Craig Evans.
Hold on. $35,000, no questions asked. Well, I mean, I think you would have to know a little bit more opposed to just saying, hey, let me get the $35,000. Without knowing everything that's going on. I mean, let's just be realistic. There's some missing stuff there in regards to what we're talking about. At least it seems that way, at least as we are talking. Let's talk real quick about some things that are going on here. Ventura Fire Station flying flags at half-staff in honor of a fallen firefighter. Ventura fire stations are now flying their flags at half-staff in honor of what was going on. Take a listen to what Daniel Martindale has to say.
The citywide gesture is in tribute to 59-year-old Matthew Clapsaddle, who died while vacationing with his wife in Hawaii earlier this month. He suffered a medical emergency. Clapsaddle's body returned to Southern California on Friday. He was honored with a procession from LAX to Camarillo. Clapsaddle worked at Ventura Station 5 and was a member of its ocean rescue team. He's survived by his wife and son. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Okay, thank you, Daniel Martindale, for that one. Take a listen to this real quick. Weekend street race ends with a crash damaging several houses and parked cars. In Des Moines, police are looking for people who were involved in a street race and crashed early on Sunday morning in Des Moines. The two cars crashed at a high speed on East 14th, leaving what police described a block-long trail of destruction.
East 14th and Guthrie on a PI, we had a Chrysler 300 and a second car that struck a house here. 3 or 4 houses have been struck, among other items. And we're being told that some of these people are getting out of the vehicles and taking off on foot.
The Des Moines dispatch audio police say that the house is so damaged that the families was forced to find another place to stay. Several parked cars also have damage on them. So, I mean, it's an interesting one for sure. But I guess some stranger things have happened. And I'm not talking about, of course, the show, just to be on the safe side as we are talking here.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's take a listen real quick. Listen. Oh, hold on. Cryptomnesia. Have you ever heard this word before? Are you familiar with it? Are you familiar with Cryptomnesia? I just want to make sure before I move on and tell you what I have to say today. So, Cryptomnesia, have you heard it? Do you know it? And let me talk to you about it a little bit here today, because I think it's going to be important for us to go down this path as we are talking. So, Cryptomnesia occurs when a forgotten memory returns without it being recognized as such by the subject, who believes it is something new or original. It is a memory bias whereby the person may falsely recall generating a thought, an idea, a song, a joke, not deliberately engaging in plagiarism, but rather experiencing a memory as if it was a new inspiration. Cryptomnesia. So have you heard that term before? Because it's amazing to me still to this date, the amount of reproduction stuff that we get to see out there in regards to the field. And listen, I want to talk about this because I think it's important. I don't mind, taking a look and making sure that people are still being safe, and I don't mind things happening the way that they should. But listen, I don't say an honorarium needs to be done for people in regards to what's being done. But man, sometimes we have to be honest of what the source is. We have to be honest on where some of these things are coming, opposed to us just sitting back and going, oh no, that's not how that occurs. Because there are all kinds of times that we're doing stuff that we forget to give homage to where it came from. And it seems to happen a lot in our little world of safety. And I say that from the standpoint of take a look around and look at the stuff that happens. And I'm talking about anything from the way that things are created or duplicated. Like, I will tell you, a lot of the stuff that I see out there that's inside of the hop world seems to be replicated from other sources of other people who have created some of the stuff that's out there. And I don't see a lot of people giving homage to it, which I always find kind of interesting. And listen, there's so many other conversations that you can get into. We can talk about comedians ripping off jokes. We can talk about people copying songs and all that kind of fun stuff. But I think that will kind of deviate from the world that you and I kind of live in. But I'm not saying that there is no such thing out there as an original thought, because that could be misconstrued. But also at the same time, you have to take a look around and go, at what point do you start thinking about this and go, everything that has been said everything you can say has been said before? I know, a little controversial this morning. And it's interesting because I said the term, not somebody else, but it could be. Listen, there's a lot of stuff that are still going on out there, but it looks like a lot of times it just gets repackaged. We take information that already exists and package it in a prettier packaging and say, hey, this is something new. I don't know why we continue to do that. And I will tell you that the foundation of our station came from a lot of stuff, a lot of people that were out there that helped us get to the point where we're at. A lot of the information of our first 100 shows on the Jay Allen Show, formerly known as the Safety FM podcast, consisted a lot of the information that came from Todd Conklin's books and Scott Geller's books. And I know some people will sit back and go, hold on, Scott Geller and Todd Conklin, and you mix those together? Yes. There was a mixture there of how we came up with a lot of the stuff. And I always look at it as that I will always say that those giants inside of this industry helped significantly with the build out of this thing. They might have not known it at the time, but that's how it actually ended up working. And been blessed enough to be able to interact with them both. I will tell you that currently I get to interact quite frequently with one of the two. So it's pretty awesome on how it ends up working out. Well, anyways, with that being said, I don't know what I was looking to do when I came to this main point today. I look at it that I go, do you think it's important if you came up with some kind of information that people should give some kind of homage to you in regards of creating it, opposed to take, reproduce, because it's not a recreate, and then redistribute? Because that's what it seems like a lot of times are the things that are going on. Something to think about today as we are talking about all the madness that is going on inside of this lovely world. Think about it for a second.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
The Work Why Summit is an interactive 2-day gathering that will bring like-hearted leaders together like never before as we discuss ways to better align HR, safety, and operations around one common goal: creating the future of work together. Day 1 will focus on self-performance with talks with leading experts on how to live and lead at our best. Day 2 will focus on organizational performance with discussions on what we can do together to break down silos and foster action. The Work Summit will take place at Coker Tire Museum in Chattanooga, Tennessee on Thursday, September the 22nd and Friday, September the 23rd. For more information, go to workzbe.com/Y Summits. That's WORKZBE.com Y Summit.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him in the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home. Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill? Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Pop quiz hotshot. During a heat wave, what's more important, air conditioning or air guitar?
Is it air conditioning?
Air guitar. The answer is always air guitar.
Mind and body just can't agree. What I should do when I don't feel free.
Okay, there you go. There's Let's Things Go. This is by Kilrude. Song is readily available on Spotify and iTunes. So there you go. Thank you for Kilrude for allowing us to play it. Okay, there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go. Anyways, currently 44 minutes past the top of the hour. Whoa, 44 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday. So as we are talking, doing the things that we get to do around here, let me tell you real quick about my friends at 988 Suicide Crisis Lifeline. So if you're not familiar with them, let me tell you what they are. They are the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is a national network of local crisis centers that provide free and confidential emotional support to people in suicidal crisis or emotional distress 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in the United States. They are committed to improving crisis services and advancing suicide prevention by empowering individuals and advancing professional best practices and building awareness. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. Or you can actually just text the word TALK to 988 or call 988 if you are here in the United States of America. So there you go. I think it's one of those conversations that we should have sometimes, but we should have it all the time because it is that darn important as we are talking. Anyways, let's get into some other stuff that is going on inside of the world of the news. Not quite quitting, quiet quitting. Take a listen to this. Haven't you heard talk about this yet? But quickly becoming one of the biggest buzzwords of 2022, quiet quitting. The term appeared widely this month, trending on Twitter and inspiring TikTok hashtags that accumulated more than 30 million views. What is it? Quiet quitting is the concept of performing your job expectations and not going above and beyond. According to the HR experts, basically, if you've decided to attend work daily and complete the mandatory tasks but will not stay to do additional hours or take extra projects, you're the quiet quitter. The sudden popularity of the concept is thought to reflect the patterns observed in changing labor market as employers are seen to squeeze more and more productivity out of workers while paying them the same or less. The resulting resentment among workers, plus the feeling that there is more to life than rising to the top of the corporate ladder and making the most money possible, has led many to work to live, not live to work. The concept is quiet quitting. So what are these people trying to do? Make me look good? I mean, because that would be the best way to do it. And then I think my kids are the quiet quit on me a long time ago, but that's a whole other story.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
I don't know, just something to think about. I mean, hey, I try to keep it 100 over here as we are talking about things that are going on in life. Yes, life. So with that being said, let's get into some other news and some stuff that is going on out there inside of the world. Let's see. Let's talk about this real quick because this one hit kind of over the last little bit. Despite low student loan debt, Iowans still likely to qualify for loan forgiveness. Iowa has among the lowest student loan debt in the nation, but some Iowans are still likely to get some level of loan forgiveness. Take a listen to what Craig Evans has to say, not Chris Evans.
About 1 out of 10 Iowans has college loan debt with an average of $31,000 in student loans. That is the second lowest student loan amount in the nation, behind North Dakota. The Biden loan forgiveness plan will cut $10,000 in student loan debt for people with incomes under $125,000 and $20,000 if they got Pell Grants. Roughly 20% of Iowans with student loans qualify for Pell Grants. I'm Craig Evans.
Okay, thank you, Craig, for that information right there. Take a listen to this, so we'll talk about it real quick. Democrats hold state convention. The state Democrat Party convention in Columbus Saturday turned up the campaign with fiery speeches from candidates who are up and down the ballot. More on that. Take a listen. Matter of fact, don't take a listen because apparently the file's not there. It is gone. It is corrupt. I guess that's not important then. Anyways, let's talk about some other things. Big moves in the Democratic Charlie Crist choosing Latina educator to be his on his ticket for Florida governor. Take a listen to what Natalie Rodriguez has to say.
In an announcement from the city of Hialeah this weekend, Florida's once Republican governor turned Democrat Charlie Crist introduced his running mate, Carla Hernandez-Mutz.
Mi gente!
The 42-year-old Miami Springs resident is president of the United Teachers of Dade and used to be a teacher at Hialeah Middle School.
My parents came to this country from Honduras, settling right here in Hialeah.
The Republican Party of Florida calls Hernandez-Mutz an extremist who supported school closures and forced masking. Natalie Rodriguez, Miami.
Okay, so there you go. Some interesting stuff going on right there as we are talking. Anyways, a 1.3 magnitude quake near Elgin Saturday. Earthquake activity is back in the Columbia area after a nearly two-week vacation. Take a listen to this real quick. Matter of fact, I don't know what's going on. It looks like a bunch of my files have just corrupted as we are going. Anyways, opposed to getting saddened by it, let's just do what we know that's important. Let's talk about the Motivation Minute because we're going to do that instead. Welcome to live radio, people. Welcome to live radio. Here's John Smalls.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Ian. Henry Van Dyke said, "Use what talents you possess. The woods would be very silent if no birds sang except those who sang the best." I love that. I think more people need to realize this. And you get better at anything by practicing too. So if you feel like you're not good enough, just remember that you're not good enough yet. Someday, you could be an expert if you put in the time to be one. Sure, natural talent and ability matter, but if you have a determination to become better, you will eventually get there, as long as you don't quit along the way. Too many times, people quit before they ever hit their full potential. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. When we talk about consuming too much sugar, we usually focus on overall health and weight management, but not so much on how it can impact our mood and emotions. Sugar or glucose is a much-needed energy source for all our cells. However, consuming too much of it impairs our cognitive skills, makes us think slower, we may find it difficult to focus, and struggle with memory and learning. This is because as sugar goes up in our brain, production of something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor or BDNF goes down, and BDNF plays an important role in forming new memories and learning new information. Too much sugar also impacts our ability to process emotions or to maintain self-control. In other words, with too much sugar, we can behave or act too impulsively or emotionally. For more information, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
Always replicated, but never duplicated. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, there you go. There's some information coming in down, and all that kind of fun stuff. So hopefully we were able to take care of some of these issues that we're having. Sorry about that because I hate it when it goes wrong like that. But hey, those things do happen. That's why I love live radio because when it goes wrong, there's no way to fix it. That is for sure. Anyways, let's talk about some other things that are going on inside of the world, out there, and all that kind of fun stuff. When I say this, what do I mean? Well, let's talk real quick about some things that happened back on this date if we're taking a look around. Matter of fact, before I get into that, let me tell you this real quick. No winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tuesday's drawing will be for a $153 million jackpot or an $85.9 million cash payout. No winner for Saturday night's Powerball drawing either. Tonight's drawing will be for a $124 million jackpot or a $69.7 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, I guess that there is time still to do so. There you go. Anyways, I want to mention this real quick because we talked about it, but I think we talked about it on the other show, but we'll talk about it real quick on here. Britney Spears and Elton John are reportedly working on a music video for their new release, #1 hit song, Hold Me Closer. Insiders shared the news that TMZ, while noting that there is no known details about the video, including whether or not the two superstars will even appear in it. So there you go. The duet will rise to #1 on iTunes. It is also the #1 in 35 countries, other countries outside of the U.S., including England. So there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Some stuff right there. Anyways, now let's talk real quick about some things that happened back on this date. So taking a look around. Let's see. Let's take a look at what happened back in 2005. Hurricane Karina makes landfall on the Gulf Coast. The Category 3 hurricane was the most destructive natural disaster in America's history, damaging the coast of Mississippi and Alabama. New Orleans famously bore the brunt of the destruction. At least 1,800 people died and up to $115 billion in damages was incurred. So think about that. Think about how much of an impact one person has in your life. Imagine 1,800 dying all in one shot, and then $115 billion worth of damages overall. Crazy times back then, 2005, the impact that had back on the time. Anyways, taking a look real quick on what is going on, let's talk real quick about some birthdays that are going on real quick. Leah Mitchell turns 36 today. Jay Ryan, 41. Kyle Cook, 47. Chris Hadfield turned 63, and Temple Grandin turned 75. If he was still alive today, back on this date, Michael Jackson was born, John McCain as well, just to name a few. Anyways, with that being said, let's take a look at some reasons to celebrate today. So there's one reason, and one reason alone. It is National Chop Suey Day. That's what I got for you. National Chop Suey Day. If you're looking for something to do, there you go. Chop suey. Anyways, let's talk about Did You Know real quick. A woman who rented a car in Toronto was charged $8,000 after the company claimed that she drove nearly the distance of the Earth's circumference in 3 days. Giovanni Boniface rented the car in Avis, traveling a total of 186 miles over 3 days. When she accessed her credit card statement, she found out that the company had charged her for 36,482 kilometers at a rate of 25 cents per kilometer. Boniface calculated that she would have had to drive 72 hours straight, approximately 500 kilometers an hour, for this to be possible. It wasn't until the day later, when the media got involved, that she was notified that the mileage charges would be refunded. It is also impossible because no one would be able to pay that for gasoline these days. I mean, think about that as we are talking. So there you go. I mean, craziness right there. Could you imagine an $8,000 bill for car mileage? Boy, is that going to make you happy. Anyways, let me give you some whack facts real quick. Red eyes in photos is a reflection of the blood in the back of your eye. On average, 150 pound burns person. 150 pound person burns about 114 calories per hour while standing and doing nothing. Before you destroyed 79 AD by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, the ancient city of Palami had takeout restaurants. Armadillo shells are bulletproof. Don't go try testing that, by the way. A backwards question mark is an accepted punctuation mark used to signify irony or sarcasm. Seriously? I didn't know that. Somebody needs to tell me how can you do the backwards question mark, because I will actually start listing that on the majority of my text. And then what else? Scientists have determined that 4 seconds is the perfect length of time to dunk an Oreo into milk. Boy, I wonder how much went into that research. I would have helped with that. There you go. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, try this. I hate when people can't let go of the past. Debt collectors are the worst. What catchy jingle or ad line has stuck in your mind for years? That's if you need a phone starter. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. On average, you do this 4 times each day. What is it? Start your car and turn it off. So there you go. That's going to sum up our time together. If you want to come over to radiobig.fm, I will be going over there to hang out and do some stuff over there on that side of the house for the next couple of hours or so. So you're more than welcome to come out, hang out, and do the stuff that you do. What else? So there you go. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. I can't leave you with a deep thought for today. I would love to leave you with this one. There are many things that will catch your eye, but only a few things that will catch your heart. Pursue those. There you go. That's something to think about. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Mind and body just can't agree on what I should do when I don't feel free. You're not holding